Hey everybody, Coach Allison once again, and we have Defy Aging to review. So we are in week 36, and I know it's a big week because we have the new warm up and the new cool down. So I hope everybody enjoys that this week. And this week we have one circuit with 7 exercises to review, and it's going to be 40 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 3 rounds. And it's going to be kind of unique in the way we do it. Everything is a single-sided exercise. We normally incorporate a couple of those every week. This week, everything is single-sided. And the way we're going to go about that is at the 20-second mark, because everything is 40 seconds. So halfway through every set, you're going to switch sides. So it's going to be a lot of switching. I tried to pick things, of course, that are easy to switch. So not too cumbersome, not, shouldn't take too long to switch sides. So I hope that is the case. Maybe just waste, 1, maybe 2 seconds to toss a dumbbell into the other hand, or just switch from your left leg to your right leg, whatever it might be. So that's the way this is going to roll this week. So let's review our 7 exercises. Of course, a little team builder at the end, and let's give it a go. One thing I will mention is I am dealing with somewhat of a back injury at the moment, low back. So some movements are very difficult for me. I'm going to do the best I can. I might have to make some modifications. We shall see, but if I make a weird noise or a weird face, that is why. So bear with me. The first exercise, first station, is a single arm, well, everything's single sided this week, a racked squat. We're going to use dumbbells. So because the kettlebells I typically like for a racked squat, but it can take some setup. It can take and it can especially take some time to switch sides. And like I said, we don't want to waste a lot of time to switch sides. So we're going to stick with sometimes it sounds like the house is coming down over on the weight room side. We're going to stick with a dumbbell this week for our rack squat. So we hold the weight at our shoulder height, but we just want to make sure we're not physically resting it on the shoulder. So don't be kind of cheating. Don't be resting it physically on your shoulder, because then we're not really engaging the delt muscle as much as we want to. So it's at the shoulder height, but kind of hovering like so. From there, we go into a normal squat. And the key here is you might have to keep your squat a little higher than normal for you here's the reason you might need to do that. If going lower means that you have to sacrifice where that dumbbell is. So when I went lower there, I kind of was letting my dumbbell drop. Now, if you have the core strength and the shoulder strength and the back strength, it's kind of all of it, to keep this dumbbell here and get lower, wonderful, great, do it. But we don't want that dumbbell to fall. You should think of it like it's a waiter's tray, and you have a glass of water here. And so if you let that dumbbell fall, that water glass is going to tip. So with that being said, keep your squats, get as low as you can, keeping that weight here at the shoulder, not letting it tip forward like that. 20 seconds one side, and then you switch arms and do 20 seconds on the other side. Yes, it's 40 seconds of continual squats. You're simply switching the side with the weight. So that is station 1. Station 2 is a band rotation. So it's primarily a core exercise, but little chest, little shoulders, work some other things too. So we have a band anchored at one point to our side. Arms are locked in straight. It's very similar to last week where we had the side step. So it's the same starting setup. Now we're going to do a twist, or a turn, I should say, rotation. Better word, because that's actually in the name. So we're doing like a quarter rotation. We're not doing a full 180, because 180 we would start like this, and then we'd go a full 180. So it's more of a quarter. Watch my foot. Do you see that pivot? That's very important. If we don't do the pivot, what that does, I'm going to do a few without the pivot, and I want you to watch what's happening to my ankle and my knee here. My foot's staying planted, and so my ankle and my knee are kind of like caving and doing like this weird, icky yuckiness. Super technical. But no, it doesn't feel good, because it's like kind of tweaking the knee joint and the ankle joint. We don't want to do that. If you pivot instead, now my ankle and my knee are actually turning to face the direction my body is going. Everything's in alignment, okay? And that's better. And it helps you to get a better turn as well. So this is a little light, so I'm going to make it a little harder on myself. I'm just going to step out a little farther. Now I'm pulling more resistance. Pivot each time. Let your head follow your hands. Okay, keep your arms locked in straight. You shouldn't have any bent elbows or any weird like angles like that. The switch is really easy. I'm going to turn away from you. Halfway through the set, the switching of sides is very simple. You just spin around. There you go. So that is our band rotation. Next station, a single arm reverse flies. This one can be a little tricksy. It's such a simple movement, but to do it right is actually kind of complicated. So figure that out. You want to go light. You need to go light because it's a weaker area in our muscle. It's our rear delt muscle that we're kind of primarily working, some of our upper back too, and rear delts are very, very weak for everybody. It's a weaker area for all of us. So you come into a hinged position. Oof, sorry, back. See, that was the noises I said I'd be making. Luckily, you get to support yourself on your thigh here with your free hand. So whereas like a deadlift, you're not supported with anything. Now you get to kind of chill on your thigh or your knee here. And the other weight is neutral grip like this, so not turned like that, nothing like this, just neutral, palm in. And we do that fly out to the side and up. Now, like I said, I'm using a 5, and I would maybe go up to an 8. That's about as heavy as I would personally go on this to stay nice and controlled. You know, if you go too heavy and you're kind of like turning your body, if you need to use a jerking momentum, if you're needing to bring it in here first to like use momentum like that, if you're having to do any of that, it's too heavy. We don't swing it across the body first for momentum. We dead stop it here at the bottom. We don't turn the body into the twist like this. We keep the body still. So your arm should just be moving controlled and steady like that. If you're doing any of that jerking or twisting or any of that, the weight's too heavy. So please drop the ego on this one, okay? It can be hard because I normally tell everyone to go heavy as you can. This is a lighter exercise. Easy switch, toss that weight to the other hand. Ooh. Back. It's very important to keep a slight bend in the elbow. I'm trying to get a good angle where you can see the bend in my elbow with all my black clothing. It's hard to tell. It's so important with this exercise, lock in the arm and do like a straight arm. I see that a lot, like a straight arm lift like this. You're honestly not working almost anything up here. You're really just using like full momentum and putting a ton of strain on your elbow joint when you do that. So keep a soft bend in your elbow, and there you can kind of see the bend in my elbow. And last thing we're not doing is an elbow extension. So we're not I'm exaggerating it just to kind of get my point across, but we're not doing like that. So think of like a full arm cast on your arm. This is silly, but it gets the point across. Full arm cast from your armpit to your wrist. And so you cannot change this position of your arm. It's the same here as it is here. Does that make sense? Yep. So to hit the right muscles, we want to do that one correctly. So it's very important for all those cues. 20 seconds on each side. Okay, next one, single leg glute thrust. All right, so lying on your back. This is where everyone gets to see how my back is doing because lying down is not very easy. Okay, there, wasn't too bad. Oh boy, so lying flat, one leg is just up in the air doing nothing, and foot flat on the floor with the other one, and that's about as high as I can go because my back injury is like really low, almost in my hip. So this is about as high as I can go until it doesn't feel too good. So, but you get the idea. Most of you have done this before. Maybe the other side. That's actually worse. Okay, so anyway, 20 seconds one side, super easy to switch sides. Voila. A little pause at the top, just like 1 second, but no pause at the bottom. Tap the floor and you're right back up. Okay, this is how I have to get up. There we go. Oh boy. Injuries. Now, anyone staying off the floor, I think a good alternative would be a step up. But I want to add like a slow, relatively kind of a slow way down. That's going to incorporate a little more of the hamstring and the glute, which is definitely what we're targeting with the glute thrust. So what that'll look like is you keep one leg up here, don't bring it down for the full half until you switch. So you go up, and then it's kind of a little bit of a controlled step down. Up, control it down. When you're controlling it down, mentally, I want you to think about keeping a little extra more weight in your heel versus your toe. You don't have to like lift your toe up or anything. I'll show you the other side. I don't know if that makes a difference. Up and then control it down. Up, control it down. That little extra control on the way down is going to put a little more work in that hamstring and glute if you're kind of keeping your weight more in the heel. Okay, so those are the glute thrust, standing alternative, step up with a little slow way down. Next station, oldie but a goodie, cannot go wrong, and you should never stop doing overhead presses. Single arm overhead press, 20 seconds one side, 20 seconds other side. Bring it down to about, we had the double arm press half meal last week, so same cues. Bring it down to about chin or cheek height, lap depth, whatever. That's about a good distance to bring it down. Don't let it sink all the way. We don't want to let it like sink all the way down here. Okay, that's too much strain on the shoulder joint. Yeah, 20 seconds each side, and let's get some good isolated shoulder strengthening. All right, we have an agility ladder thing again. We're gonna do lateral. This is the only station where we're not gonna switch anything halfway. So this one is our cardio station. It's gonna just continue the same thing for the whole set. Lateral zigzag fast feet, I think I don't know, called it. So it's called an agility ladder. This is an agility drill, and I am going to show you a progression to make it a harder in a different way and be more still agility, but more cardio. And it is a progression. So we don't often show progressions for things. This is So I'll show it slowly first. That's fine. Whatever direction you're going, you have to lead with that foot or you're going to get all tripped up. So I'm leading to my left. So I'm going to lead with my left leg. So I'm going to step in, out, out. And as I'm also going to the side. So I'm going in, out, out, and leading to my left. Always leading with my left foot. If I lead with my right foot, watch what happens. I kind of like, have to step over my own feet. So I kind of get tripped up. So that's very important. Now I'll speed it up a little. Once you get the movement down, the goal is agility. You want to go fast. Notice how I'm staying on the balls of my feet. Balls of the feet does not mean tiptoes. So I'm not doing this. I'm not trying to be on my tippy toes. Balls of the feet just means you're not stomping your heels down. You're not putting your heels down hard. So you're not being like hard-footed like this. But you're agile. You're ready to, stick and move if you had to. So that's that. The progression is a kind of more of a lateral zigzag hop. So it's really the same thing, but you're gonna crisscross your feet in and out of each box as you go down the ladder. So I don't know if you could see what was happening with my feet there. Perhaps let me show you more of a front angle from the ladder, if that helps. It doesn't feel great on my back, but I can handle it for a few seconds. So see I'm getting each foot in and out of the box as I'm also going down the length of the ladder. So it's a lot of coordination, a lot of agility, and since it's actual jumping, it's going to get that heart rate up more. So there's 3 rounds, so maybe you start with the first option, and if you want to progress and try that progression, it's up to you, but that is our agility ladder this week. Last station, it's a single arm band or cable row. You can do it with either, so it'll be up to your gym and your turf space and your coach and your equipment and all that good stuff if you're going to be using the cables or the bands. It's the same exact thing. You can do the same movement. So the side the side you're holding the handle with, that leg is back. You can do this with a parallel stance as well, but I think it's best with the staggered stance. So the side with the handle, you're going to step that leg back a little bit in a staggered stance, and then you pull this arm in, and you're going to do a rowing motion. It's really important you keep the shoulder down, so don't allow that shoulder up into a shrug as you pull. So you want to avoid this, right? And yeah, you just kind of keep that elbow in like it's right along a track, like a train track, right along your side. And it's the same as we do double arm rows with this all the time, like that. It's the same thing. And then make sure when you switch your arm, you switch your leg as well. Okay? And just to show you, I mean, it will look exactly the same, but we'll do a quick demo on the cable as well. Again, of course, it's exactly the same, but your coach will have it set up already. So it's just, one of these cable, they all look a little bit different, but it's really all the same. It's hard to get the camera in the right position. Step back a little bit, and so you would pull that cable handle in like this. The only tricky thing with the cable is everyone would probably be at a different weight. So you have to put the pin in the right weights. And so if you're unsure what weight you want to use, you might test out a few weights, and then the set might be halfway over before you get the appropriate weight. So if you're going to use the cables, maybe test out a few weights before you start your first circuit. Or you might already know. But anyway, so that's a single arm row. Switching sides is easy. Just remember to switch your legs too. All right, and our team builder is going to be a shuffle relay. This could be a little bit different at each club, once again, depending on how many people are in your session, how much time you have left, and as well as maybe just how your coach wants to run it. But it might be everyone goes and just takes one turn. Maybe you do 2 rounds and the entire team tries to beat the time they had in round 1. Maybe you have 2 teams and they just try to see which team gets done first. So it is actually kind of a race. I don't really know. Your coach can decide. But we did shuffles, I think, 2 weeks ago. Make sure you're staying down in that kind of half or quarter squat position. Hips are back, so make sure your knees aren't coming forward like that. And you just take those nice little gentle hops. Make sure you're bringing those feet, shuffling those feet in together. You can take that as slow or as fast as is appropriate for you. And yes, it's a little bit of a hop, but it is a very, very gentle hop. So I urge everyone to give it a try. Even if, jumping isn't maybe your thing, like a big full jump like that's not your thing. This is very, very different. It's very light. So give it a try. But shuffle relay is our team builder. All right, that's week 36. New warm-up, new cool down, single-sided stuff for the workout this week. Hope everyone enjoys this, and we'll see you back in week 37.